the first one is to use a step-by-step three-phased approach. So linked in with that first drawing, the curve that should occur in a well-planned and executed if those are meant to be straight lines. So in a well-designed program, that journey from current performance to the desired performance and beyond should take that shape. And that's the shape that we should have in our mind as we plan the various different elements to it. And I've divided that journey into three. So these are the three sort of fundamental steps that must happen. And again, we use this principle looking at a multi-site, multi-country size business, and we will look at this three steps if we're looking at a relatively small improvement change program in one location. So the first step is to have a pilot phase, and that's critical. The next one is rollout, and the third one is sustainability and continuous improvement. And I have a term called the faffing around time, and of course it's a bit unprofessional, but I can't get that out of my mind. When you start a program, there is a period where people don't get it, they don't understand it. There's a style that's needed to get us through that period. And then once we're through that period, things start to pick up. And once those things have started to pick up, there's a line between the pilot phase and the rollout phase, which is where all the key learning from the pilot phase is captured. So that's a very important element to it. And instead of going gung-ho right across the business, there's a breakdown of certain elements of the business. So there's an improvement program in the pilot phase. Sometimes there may be two improvement programs in the pilot phase. But when you get to rollout, you take all the learning from that time in pilot and you reapply it. So you're reapplying the programs faster, and it's the speed of being able to replicate the programs that you've learned from. So you've taken the learning and then you can replicate in parallel. You can run a number of programs over that period of time, and that's where that increase comes. So if you go back to the early drawing that I did at the beginning of the webinar, you saw that one of the examples, I think it's number 2, is that you get a shape like that, but it does have the ability to drop off. So the third phase is absolutely critical as well. And that isn't that that's been done so well, we're automatically going to have continuous improvement. We're automatically going to get everything stay where it is. There are, just happens to be 10, sustainability systems. And these are in the ebook, by the way. So there's actually a period going from rollout to sustainability that captures the 10 sustainability processes and starts to implement them as systems in the business owned by internal employees, system owners, and those system owners own those various different systems. And those systems aren't a revolutionary thing. They're things like refresher training, onboarding training, a process for senior managers to be visible, appraisal systems, including the continuous improvement type work. There's 10 of those, and they're absolutely critical in this 3-phase step-by-step approach. And although I know even our own clients would say, well, I want that as short as I can. I want the time to be as short as I can. There has to be a period, 6 months plus, where the pilot is so valuable to be able to take that learning. So you get that step change in improvements, and those improvements can be tangible, cultural, and the upskilling of people. So in our programs, we always aim for those three outputs, not just the results, the upskilling of people. And I'll talk about that on another principle. So that's one of our principles. These aren't in any particular order, but we always make sure, even if it's a relatively small organization or part of a bigger one, still pilot, then roll out and sustain. And of course, like every principle, you need to take the intent of it and not the actual sort of binary meaning of it. So that change curve, you know, a large organization can have 10 or 15 of those change curves, as well as a more hierarchical top level strategic change curve for the company. So there isn't one change curve, there's a whole morass of change curves in various different parts, depending on where they are on that journey in time.